Hey, before you watch this thing, hit subscribe.
America. It's the first time somebody's had America as a block.
Yeah.
President Trump, go ahead. What's your problem?
America,
Yeah.
Just on the way here this morning, listening to the news, we have achieved, Trump has achieved
but
something
it's
no
funny.
other president.
You both, Trump doesn't think America's doing it right either. It's just everyone thinks we're doing it wrong, but for completely different reasons.
This goes back to, if I didn't have kids and didn't have maybe if I had a wife it'd be different, but if I didn't have kids, I would be gone. I would be
okay.
out.
Well, where are you going?
That's the thing. Where do you go? This is the thing.
Because a lot of liberals say that.
No, for sure.
Look up immigration in other countries.
For sure.
It's not easy.
First of all, if you apply to Canada, they do have a thing called, it's basically like their genius visa. So if you have if you've done things in the arts, if you're a published author, you can get, because I'm too old by age to get in there, but by acclaim, I think I can get to Canada. So I've looked into it. I have thoughts of going to New Zealand and being the Yakov Smirnoff of New Zealand, like the Black American in New Zealand, like in my country.
Yes.
In your, I would just travel the country and do a TV show where I just eat. Oh, that's my. It's in New Zealand.
Yep.
Because even right wing New Zealand, which they're right wing right now, still has a social safety net, healthcare, progressive policies. So yeah, I think, but there's not a lot of Black people. But I think if I went there, I would become part of the tribe, the Maori tribes and things. I would part of the,
okay,
because you can't, as a Black guy, there's not really a lot of places. I mean, of course, there's Ghana.
We all knew Ghana.
Ghana, yeah. I would go check out Ghana. I just, just again, I got mixed kids.
But that's what's funny is because of your sort of cultural bent. You go New Zealand and Canada. Mm-hmm. My first thought was Ghana, but. Is part of being Black in America or being Black in the world is just a numbers game of America's still 65% white people. Mm-hmm. It's just a market thing of where is the market? There's more eyeballs, there's more ears, whatever, in white people than Black people, or in the world, same thing.
Yeah, but the thing that, as a Black person in this country, you're but we're also sort of weirdly though, we're not the smaller, we're 12% of the population, but we're one of the engines of the country.
Right.
So if you take Black people out of this country, shit starts to go left.
Culturally?
Yeah, culturally. Yeah. And just all the most of the money in this country comes from the blue states and the blue cities, which are more Black than the red states. So a lot of the red states. So, but yeah, so I think that we definitely have earned our value here in this country as far as we should be, but we're not being given our value. We're not being treated as if we've earned our value in this country. So for me, I think a part of it is I remember talking to this Black woman before the election, something about we have to fight for our country. And I had that moment that every Black person has eventually, is this really our country? And I really think that we have to understand that countries are temporary. In the history of the world, when I was a kid, we had a map of Africa in my house that my mom would regularly have to be that country's named this now.
Yeah, now, yeah.
So I think
they transitioned.
Yeah, and so I think that we have to. In my mind, if I didn't have kids who were really wanted to stay in school, I would start going to other places and looking around to see where do I fit, because I got to fit somewhere else, So because I think that this country is, whatever happens.
Do you not think? Do you think? You don't think racism is just an inherent human instinct? You think it's especially American? Meaning, you think New Zealand is exempt?
Well, no. First of all, I always said there's different types of racism in America, and I prefer the West Coast racism to the Southern racism.
Yeah.
So I'm not and so I don't think.
By the way, there's different kinds of racism in Africa.
No, for sure. So I'm not saying I'm trying to escape racism. I'm trying to escape specifically America, and America's policies and America's race. So I don't think, as a Black person, our images have been sort of sold and sort of all over the world. So wherever I step into it, they're going to have some sense of what a Black person is. Mm-hmm. Now it's going to be, and especially if I step into Ghana, it's as an American Black person.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have to deal with that wherever I go. And part of the thing about New Zealand, there's not a lot of Black people over there. And so a little bit it feels maybe I just go there for a break from just maybe there I can sort of, and then gear up and go to Ghana. I don't know. But I think
what's funny is I'm just thinking it could be a movie.
Yeah.
of if you like move to Ghana and just change your black identity till you were super militant.
Yeah. Like,
and you rewrote
it's like
your
when you
whole,
move to a new town.
Yeah.
And
like, oh no, I'm as black as everybody.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm in America. You got to really
fuck white people.
Yeah,
First and
exactly.
foremost, nice to meet you. Fuck white people.
Yeah.
That's my name.
I mean, I also thought about moving to Hawaii and then helping them become a sovereign nation again. Like, I've got a lot of ideas. Yeah. So, but I do think that America, like, I don't know that America deserves most of us anymore. And I think we have to stop thinking about this country as being a forever thing. And I think if we thought more like that, not that everybody has the privilege to leave, but I think if we thought more, instead of being like we have to fight for this thing, like what are we fighting for? And so, but because I have kids and an 87-year-old mom, and
in some ways, I think you're fighting for the literally the climate, the physical climate, like the weather where you are, and the time zone and the sport, like literally, like whenever I hear about corporations, we're going to threaten to move to Portugal. It's like, all right, well, you're going to have to wake up in the middle of the night to check in on your kids and your grandma and your friends, and like your life's going to be demonstrably worse.
And I think that even if I was to leave this country, which again, I don't have any plans for this. This is just like, if I was single, I would be more invested in it. But like, I understand that the work of being a black American doesn't leave just because I leave. Like, I still sort of am connected to this country and invested in this country and checking in on this country and probably in some way making money off this country. But like, I just think that like the last election really proved that like, oh, this country really we may have turned a corner.
Let's just focus on black people who voted for Trump. Which, whatever, who knows how big the percentage was?
Yeah, but it's not significant enough that people act like it
didn't
something.
swing anything.
It didn't swing anything. Yeah.
Can you understand?
Yeah, because most people, no matter their race, don't pay that close attention to politics. Right. So I think we always sort of, like, people like me and you are like, oh, did you see what happened?
Most people didn't care about Project 2025.
Exactly, and it just sort of comes through the ether, and and then somebody they know online says that's not real. They go, he said it's not real, so like, or they, or Joe Rogan tells them something. So the idea being that like I don't think that most people are paying that close attention. So I can't really get mad at them for voting for Trump. Now, if you're like out there hustling for Trump as a black person, that's a different thing. I feel like now you're you're a grifter. Okay.
Yes.
But I think most people just sort of like, do you know the day of the election, like there was a spike in Google of like, why isn't Joe Biden on the ballot?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so, like,
no, I know. And a big spike.
Yeah. So that to me is like we think most people
we think everybody's like obsessed.
Like,
and
at 6:13 this morning, the president said, did you see his tweets? Like, and most people aren't doing that. And so I have more empathy for those people than other people do. My beef is with people who are on my side who are being bad actors. Like, I'd rather if I'm going to put some beef into an area, it's going to be into the like, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumers of the world, where it's like nothing. Yeah.
Well, what do you make of the liberal firing squad as a Democrat? What do you make of the cannibalization that Democrats?
What do you mean, as far as like nobody's ever doing it right?
The purity test, and there is no such thing as a good Democrat. It's just like,
I do think that we have to understand that like, because money rules politics, it just means that those at the top are generally not going to be what we want them to be.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have to be, as a society, we have to be in a position to bully them into the position we want them to be in, because they're not going to do it on their own good. I do think that like at this particular moment in American history, if you are a person in power and a Democrat, and you're not like actively like out there every day calling balls and strikes, and actively out there every day like sort of figuring out how to sort of speak directly to the people of this country and how to like marshal the forces. If you're a person who goes, I don't know what leverage we have, I can't trust you. Like I can't.
Right.
Like I can't.
Well,
like,
I guess my other question is like, what
doing something is better than doing nothing.
Yes, but does AOC might not win a general election? AOC will win Bernie will win their, or you're suspicious of that. You think maybe they can.
AOC won her district and Trump won her district.
Yes. No,
So I'm just saying it shows.
Yeah.
that AOC
no, I'm with you. So
yeah.
I guess it's like I don't even know what the right approach is for Democrats in terms of. Obviously, Chuck Schumer is like negative charisma. So
negative charisma.
Yeah. So like, I don't know who the future is, or is Josh Shapiro too mild? Was Obama a disappointment?
But see, this is Obama. This is the word. Think about Obama. Obama came out of nowhere, basically.
Yes.
Like, he was not a guy who was being he groomed himself, but groom is a weird word to use now. But he sort of believed, him and Michelle believed it before anybody else saw it.
Yeah.
And so he sort of like
Michelle didn't, but he did.
Yeah, you know more than me.
Yeah.
You're much closer to the Obamas than I am. I've never met them. So I think that's the model: is go find these leaders who are now state senators, who are now like Summer Lee, who's from Pennsylvania, is a great example of she won a moderate district. She's I don't know if she's a socialist, but she's a Democratic socialist. She's like progressive black woman, had to defeat AIPAC money to win her Congress seat. Latifah Simon, where I'm from, just took over Barbara Lee's seat. Are dynamic leaders who are now in the Congress. Go find those dynamic leaders and start to prepare the way for them.
Yeah.
And I think that right now, I would say the Democratic Party should be like the NBA in Africa in the 80s. Just go look for tall guys.
Yeah.
Just go look for and I think that if they were to focus on that, I would be, Hakeem Jeffries can do whatever he wants to do, Chuck Schumer, but you really need to go invest in new talent.
Yeah.
And I think right now they're sort of like when they say things like we don't have leverage, it's like you're trying to hold on to your position.
Well, yeah, if your commitment is to remain holding on to your job, then you're already fucked.
Yeah, so I think that until we can get money out of politics, which is a big thing, the Democratic Party is only to be taken seriously if they understand we need new blood, literally.
Yeah, and a different approach in terms of more Molotov cocktails of just it really has to be. You can't it's so fucked.
Yeah.
That you have to just go, I'm here for one term.
Yeah.
And Bullworth it, if I may use the late 90s.
If you can use that. But I feel because think about Martin Luther King Jr. was chosen among the pastors to lead the Montgomery bus boycott. They were we need to do a boycott.
And Rosa Parks, same thing.
Yeah, they were not they didn't just sort of explode out of nowhere. They were that's the guy. He's young. He's charismatic. Malcolm X was in prison and came out of prison and started giving speeches wait a minute, that guy talks really good. You have to go find these people. And then when you find them, you have to turn the power over to them instead of just using it. So I think at least AOC is actually demanding her turn. And I feel I take her more seriously that way. And like I said, I think that I don't know that America's ready for a woman of color president. I'm not saying that we should. A little bit. I feel okay. Find the best looking square jawed white guy available. Yeah. It just feels and that's why I sort of have given up on America. But I think you're not going to find that person unless you let that person. You're not going to. You have to go find that person.
I want to get less specific.
Yeah.
So when you say America as a bloc, the whole thing with America is you. I think I'm earnest, you're earnest, because I'm taking America at what it claims it is, and not what it's been, but what it claims to want to be. Are we naive? Do you know what I mean? It's never been it's never been the shining. It's always claimed to, but it's I claim to be a lot of things I'm not.
No,
not
I think
that it's not that different. I hope, but maybe it is.
Yeah, I think that
human beings are involved is the problem. It's
for
highly faulty human beings.
I think that if we think this country is eventually going to settle back to some sense of all right, that was a crazy period. Now we're back to regular. We're not. I think that's naive. I think without actually fighting, scrapping, clawing, figuring it out, being invested in the solution, it's naive to think that America's going to settle in to Trump already has gone faster than even some Republicans expected.
Yeah.
Have you seen all these meetings where Republicans are showing up in their district?
Yeah, they're mad.
To talk about Doge is stop yelling. You know what I mean? So he's already upsetting the apple cart so much that it's that Republicans can't keep up with it. And I think that there's clearly going to be more of that. And I think that we are naive to think that America sort of naturally pulls towards justice. I think America has been pushed towards justice.
Yeah.
And I think that it's not going to get to justice unless it is actually bullied into justice, which is a funny way to put it. But I think that we can't sort of go. And I think that whenever I see people on TV, especially in media, who are who are still in this place of for example, Elon Musk with this awkward hand gesture, I'm what you're telling me is that you're going to be fine.
Right.
That you own a place in the Hamptons, or you've got enough invested in your 401k, or you've got enough in the stock market that you're not actually worried. You don't have to be worried.
Yeah.
And so I think whenever I see people, celebrities talk about we go through stuff sometimes. What you're saying is you're going to be fine. And I one of the great things about living in Oakland is that most people aren't fine.
Yeah.
Most people, and I see it every day, and so it makes me sort of be like, I can't relax into my own I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And I got to be invested in everybody's fineness, just not my fineness.
Yeah, that's aspirational. I mean, it's a society.
But I think the thing people always come to me now because I'm this guy, Kamau, what can I do? What should I do? What should I do?
Yeah.
You got to do something. And I don't mean, I think we get caught up in I guess I'll start a nonprofit where I collect the sweaters from No, just and not that I'm pushing it, but Donors Choose is an organization I'm involved with that helps provide classroom supplies and equipment for public schools. You can go to Donors Choose right now.
Donors, DONORS, choose.
Like the word choose,
choose.
Choose.
Donors choose.
So the donor gets to choose. So you can look up classrooms in your area code wherever you live, in your zip code, not area code, your zip code, and you'll find public schools in your area where teachers I need $300 to buy hygiene supplies.
Yep.
And you just go
boop, on
your credit card, and that happens. That's something. It's not now you can't walk around and brag the rest of the day. But I think the idea
watch
being
me. Watch me.
But the idea being that we all have to find something because nothing ain't gonna get it.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying is all of us who want America to be the thing that we thought it was when we were kids have to be actually invested in something.
Yeah, with all the people that approach Trump or people that it's they're wrong, but I understand why. I understand their point of view. I disagree with it. That they feel left out and they feel scorned and they felt looked down upon by media. It's they were.
Yeah. I'm not. I just think right now you have all these Trumpers who are I voted for Trump and I have the hat and I just got laid off from my job because da 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 da. And people are ha ha ha.
I don't. Yeah, and we both think ha ha ha. It's not a good approach.
No, ha ha. It's not a good approach.
Yeah.
But now I'm well, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Because if in 4 years you vote for him again, or because he's going to run again for some, or you vote for JD Vance, I need to know. I'm not going to laugh at you, but I do need to know. Have you learned? Are you going to change?
Yeah, I don't. A part of me thinks that what is going to happen is it's going to be Doge should have marketed itself as decluttering the government. It would have been way better. Maria Kondo does this.
Does this give you joy?
Does this spark joy?
Does Social Security spark joy?
and then they could go, no, it didn't. What they're going to have to do is they're going to break a bunch of shit down. And then they're going to realize the value of it. And in retrospect, now hopefully the damage is going to be minimal. It's not going to be minimal. It's going to be massive. I know too many people now who work in the hopefully not that deadly, because I also think it's going to be deadly.
It's, as they say, it's way harder to break. It's way harder to build
than break. Yes. But I think hopefully that's the cycle. I mean, that's me being optimistic.
That may be the cycle, but that cycle may happen over there's gonna be some stat of the number of people who died because their Social Security check didn't come in. They missed 1 month of Social Security, so they couldn't buy their medicine or they couldn't buy their food, and they died. And there's gonna be some stat that proves this is what the cost was.
Yes.
This is what the human
and
cost
it's gonna be in
was.
6 years when we finally look back and they finally
So, and I want to be clear, I'm not here to advocate for President AOC or Bernie or any of these people. It's funny to me to see all these comedians who showed up at the inauguration being man, I would never show up at one of these people's things. I would never, nobody, even people I agreed with, I'm not trying to be at the VIP room, So, and so for me, I'm not advocating for anybody. I just appreciate people who are actually trying something versus people who are what can we do?
Do you think your expectation of America is realistic? It's not
realistic, but it's reasonable. It's not realistic.
Reasonable compared to what though? Meaning what country does it right? Because I'm with you. I am disappointed in America, but then I go, where else would I go? Like,
Well,
what
see,
else?
I don't think you compare it to like who's doing it right. I think about like a video game, like like the different like in an NBA video game, the sliders on each player. This player's good at 3-pointers. This player's good at rebound. I think you have to look around and go, I'm going to look at all the sliders and go, man, Norway has a great quality of life. It's got social safety net.
Yeah.
It's got prison reform. It's got but it's got almost zero black people, so I can't do it. So I can't do it. I can't do it.
Or it's fucking freezing.
Yeah, it's fucking freezing. So I think you're not going to get...
Which is synonymous with zero black people.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Those things often go hand in hand. So I think you can't look at these countries like, I'm going to pick the best one. You're going to pick the one that works for you. And I think that we also there's things that you take for granted in this country that if you go somewhere else, you might be like, oh man, I do kind of miss that.
Yeah.
So I think that you have to, I think when we talk about moving to other countries, we got to talk about it in a way that's like, you're not looking at other countries like there's a best one or there's a perfect one. All of this shit has been like raked over by imperialism and colonialism and capitalism and
humanity.
Yeah, humanity. But what are the things you need to get through your life? So I think that's which is why, like, because I have kids, it's like, man, I guess I'm gonna have to roll with this America for 12 more years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't move them?
No, I don't. I mean, not. No. Not unless I had to, unless something like, oh shit, the National Guard is invading California and they're coming for Oakland, which could happen. But like, I'm not gonna. If I can still figure it out here, I want them to have the life that they want here. I'm not gonna, because it would be hard on kids to sort of like, the culture change is not going to be as big for me as it is for them. So, but I don't want to put them through that.